Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Vanessa. Today's video is a very chill, relaxing, sit down recommendation video. If you've seen the title, you know that I'm going to be recommending books based on other books that you guys have already read. So we're calling it If You Like This, Then Read That. And I'm not a genius. I'm not the first one to ever do this. I've seen plenty of videos on YouTube just like this one. And that's why I thought about doing one for you guys. Because if you know me, I am the definition of if I like something, I want 14 of the same thing. You know, if I read a book that has tropes, vibes, themes, characters that I love, I am going to be looking for 14 more books just like this because I'm going to be chasing that same feeling because I want to bottle it up and just like live with it forever. And I know there's plenty of you guys just like that. So we are going to do a video about recommendations. Okay, good. Now, couple of disclaimers before we get started. Like I said, this is more about similarities. It's not carbon copy. So the books are not going to have the exact same storyline, and it shouldn't because that would be plagiarism, but it's going to have like the same themes, the same tropes, the same vibes, like similarities, okay? We're going for, again, vibes, feelings, emotions. We just want the same je ne sais quoi, okay? Second disclaimer is that I think I have about 10 recommendations, so that means 20 books. I don't want this video to get too long. You guys know that I can yap for a long time. I'm trying my best. I will try my best not to make this video too long. If it is too long, it's fine. It's fine. Just put me in the background, go cleaning, go cooking. It's a recommendation video. You don't need to look at me the entire time, okay? It's fine. Okay, let's get this video started. Okay, so we are starting off this video really strong with summer romance and beach read. Now, most people I believe have read beach read, so I'm gonna make this this. So if you've read beach read, I would recommend summer romance. Beach read tells the story of January, whose life is in shambles. Her dad passed away, so she's grieving. She is sort of forced to go to this beach house because you'll learn why. I'm gonna leave that one. And she's a writer and she's having writer's block and she needs to put out a book soon or she's gonna be completely out of money. But she also finds out that her nemesis from college is also living in the house next door and he's also having a writer's block. And his name is Augustus, we'll call him Gus. And Gus has always looked down upon her, according to January, because she writes romance and he writes literary fiction, and he's like, her happy endings are just you know, not that serious. So she decides to start this bet with him, and they are basically going to swap genres. So she's going to write a literary fiction and he's going to write a romance, and they're going to see how hard it is to write in their respective genre, and whoever sells their book first is going to win. And this all taking place during like a summer, and the main thing is they should not fall in love with each other. And you know, whenever someone says that in a book, what happens? Okay, now summer romance, not a writer, okay? She is divorced. She's in the process of getting divorced. Her mom passed away and she's also dealing with that grief. Her life is also in shambles. She's like a pantry organizer or a whole house organizer, I guess, but her house is like in shambles, not organized at all, a mess. So she is dealing with also putting her life back together just like January. And then she goes to the park one day and her dog pees on a guy that she ends up finding very attractive. And from there, a summer romance ensues. These have different storylines, very different storylines, but the thing that I find very similar is their discussion about grief, their discussion about how to find yourself after you've lost yourself, reanalyzing everything that you've thought your life would be like in the trajectory that you're going in. I love all the main female character. I love the writing in all of these books. Both Annabel Monaghan and Emily Henry do this great job at describing feelings that we have felt but couldn't put into words. Their description of grief is so good, of how it's like a wave and comes back and forth. It's just, those two books are books that you just want to underline. Like every other page you're underlining because you're getting some kind of message. The romance is tender, but it's not about just about the romance. It's about the growth of our main protagonist. We don't get the point of view of the guys in this. I think both of them, I think they're single point of view. So it's really about the female characters in this. I enjoyed both of these books. I believe this is a 4.75 for me, and this is a 5-star, you know? So if you like one, pick up the other, okay? Good. Okay, so the next book that I want to recommend is Heartless and Caught Up. So we have Heartless by Elsie Silver. Did you guys think I was going to do a book recommendation and not throw an Elsie Silver book in there? Come on now. And then Caught Up by Liz Tomforde. Now, these two books have so many similarities, but they are so good. I can't. Okay, let me calm down a little bit. We have Daddy Cade in this book. This is a single dad romance. If you haven't read or if you don't know anything about the series, this is a cowboy romance. This is the second book in the Chestnut Spring series. These are standalone, interconnected, so you don't need to read the other books, but you should. They're all amazing. So Cade is a single dad. During the summer, he has a lot of things to do on the ranch, and his kid is like now 5 or 6 years old, and he's so rambunctious that the grandfather and the other nanny that used to take care of him are just too old and they can't keep up with him, so he's looking for help. So Summer from the first book has her best friend Willa, who currently, I think she races horse, or she's like a jockey, and her horse is injured right now in being rehabilitated, so she doesn't have anything to do during the summer. So Summer convinces Willa to be Cade's and his son's nanny for the summer. And they have like this 13-year age gap. Willa is like a firecracker. Like Cade is like grumpy, very serious. Life has been hard on him. And then Willa is like, I will destroy everything in my path with rainbows. Okay? And it's just a beautiful story. I just love this. Elsie Silver's books are more about the character, not heavy on the plot. So this is mainly them she's being the nanny, they're living together, and then the romance that ensues and what happens next. Love this book. And Caught Up is also very similar, except that it's not a cowboy woman romance. It's a sports romance. So Caught Up, Kai, right? Daddy Kai, he has like an 11-month-old. He's a professional baseball player, and he's traveling with the team, and he doesn't want to be away from his son. Like, his son is so young. So his coach has a daughter who's here for the summer. She's a chef, and he decides to hire her. Oh, actually, both things with these books. Because they are so protective of their kid, they both keep firing the nannies, or at least not approving of nannies because they think the nannies are not good enough. So in both situations, they are forced to hire these women. So the coach is like, you've been firing every nanny and that we've presented to you. I'm going to hire my daughter, and you can't fire my daughter. So he hires his daughter Mila to be the nanny for Kai's son for the summer, and that helps him travel with his son so that he's not away from him. And Miller is also young. I think she's 25, and I think Kai is like in his like 30s or maybe late 30s, so also a big age gap there. And Kai is the same way. He's very serious. He's had to have a lot of responsibilities when he was younger, just like Cade. They were like the eldest brother, so they're very grumpy and very serious. And Miller is like, she lives in a van, goes with the wind. Like, the girl is an artist. So a lot of similarities, but both stories are so beautiful. So if you like Heartless, pick up Caught Up. If you like Caught Up, pick up Heartless. You are not going to be disappointed. I believe this is a 5-star for me, and I think Caught Up was a 4.5. Like, honestly, could have been a 5-star because I still think about them every single day. Okay, that's our second one. All right, so the next set of books that I'm going to recommend is Terms of Condition by Lauren Aasher and The Favor by Suzanne Wright. very, very similar again. So in terms of conditions, you have Iris. Oh, sorry if I'm looking at this. I have my computer right here because I can't remember names to save my life. Okay, so we have Iris and Declan. Declan is, and this is the second book in an interconnected series. The Favor is a standalone. Now, Declan is the oldest brother of 3. Their grandfather passed away, and they're basically owners of like our version of Disneyland. It's called Dreamland, and in order to get their inheritance, they need to complete this task, and someone is overseeing like the whole inheritance and making sure that they complete the task. And Declan's task is to get married and have a baby. So he's looking for a wife, but he's so grumpy and so mean and does not believe in love. So no one really is like fitting the bill. And in the end, his assistant decides that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice myself and just marry you and help you with this process. And her name is Iris, and this is where everything ensues. Okay, very romantic. I love this book. I love the fact that Iris would not take any of his, okay, she was strong, but also I love the fact that he respected her, and you could tell that he always had some appreciation for her because he respected her mind. He respected, because he did not respect anyone else, but Iris, he would like let her run stuff, let her run meetings. So they had a really good relationship before. They were really perfect for each other. It was such a good book. I enjoyed it. It's a little on the lengthy side, like almost 500 pages. So, you know, but this is on Kindle Unlimited. All these books, I believe so far all these books on Kindle Unlimited. So listen, you have good stuff here. So yes, so that is terms and condition. And then we have The Favor. Same thing is on Kindle Unlimited. Same thing. We have Vienna and Dane Davenport. Vienna is Dane's assistant. Dane is also looking to inherit some money. I believe he has to get his inheritance, and he needs to be married for a year if he needs to have his inheritance. And Vienna is indebted to him. He did her a favor one time, and he's coming back to collect on his favor. And what he wants in return is for her to marry him for a year, and so he can get his inheritance. Same, very similar tropes, similar vibes. Both books are really great. If you really enjoyed this, I think you're going to love the other one. Both books were 4 stars for me. So, okay, I'm not gonna say more about that. I think these books are more character driven again. So the plot is very simple, but you fall in love with all of the characters. Okay, so for our next set of books, I'm going to recommend The Kiss Quotient and Always Only You. The Kiss Quotient is by Hoang. Now, and then Always Only You is by Chloe Liese. Now, those 2 books don't have the same similarities, but they do deal with characters that are similar. Both characters have autism or Asperger's syndrome. They are on the spectrum, okay? So The Kiss Quotient, we follow Stella. She has a really great career. She's doing really well. However, her parents have decided that it's time for her to marry and have kids. And because she doesn't want to disappoint her parents, she's like, okay, she's gonna start working on it. The only problem is, in order to have a baby, you need to do the deed. In order to do the deed, it would be preferable that you do it with, you know, a husband. And in order to have a husband, you need to have a boyfriend. You know, like there's some stuff that needs to happen in order for those steps to take place. So she realizes, I need to get the ball rolling, but she's really having a hard time with intimacy. So she decides to hire a male escort to teach her how to be intimate in order for her to now be comfortable to find a boyfriend, a husband, and you know. And the escort that she hires is Michael, and Michael and her strike up this deal. So she's going to teach her how to be intimate, and from there a romance will blossom. And it's really the sweetest book. I really enjoyed it. The way the representation was done was very beautiful, and if you read the author's note, you will see that there's good reasons why the representation was done very well. So I really enjoyed that. And then for Always Only You, also this is actually a sports romance. We have Ran and we have Frankie. Ran is a hockey player and Frankie is the social media admin for the team. Ran has been pining after her for years, but office romances are not allowed. And he also knows that Frankie would never date someone from the team. So he's been like biding his time and like hoping that he'll get a chance, until he finds out that Frankie is actually going to be leaving the team soon because she's going to start a new career. So he's like, here's my chance. She's no longer going to be working for the team. I can make my move. But she is going to make him work for it because of past experiences that she's had because of her diagnosis. So she's very reluctant to start a relationship because of her diagnosis. And so he's gonna have to work for it, and he works for it, and he does a great job, and he's such a cutie pie. Golden Retriever, love me some Rand. This was such a good book. I loved it. Same thing with this one. The representation was done very well. They are very different characters, but if you're looking for more books with autism, Asperger syndrome representation, these two books will fulfill that for you. There are more Chloe Liese books that will do that, but this is the one that I read and enjoyed the most. So I think you should pick those two up. I give Kiss Quotient a 5-star, but maybe it's not a 5-star. Maybe it's just a 4-star. And then Chloe Liese's book, Always Only You, I also think this is a 4-star, but still solid stories, so heartwarming. You will love these, so pick them up. The next two books, my God. If you take any recommendations from me, let it be the next two books. You better read those two books. I will be checking. And when you're done reading, come back in the comments and let me know. The next two books I'm going to recommend are Play Along by Liz Tomforde. Oh, surprise, surprise, another Liz Tomforde book on this recommendation list. And then The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer. These two books have so many similarities. It's so crazy, but so good. They are both sports romance. Okay, so let's start out with The Fake Out. In The Fake Out, we follow Hazel and Rory. Hazel is the sister of the heroine from the first book. So this is a standalone, interconnected. You don't need to read the first book. I actually think I DNF'd the first book. Not because it was bad, but I think I wasn't in the mood for it. And somehow I picked out the fake out afterwards. And then I finished that one. But anyways, I will probably go back to it later. So we have Hazel. She's the physiotherapist for the hockey team. And then she finds out that her ex is going to start working, has been traded to the team that she's the physiotherapist for. And there's this guy, Rory, who's been like making her life miserable because he's always flirting with her, but she wants nothing to do with hockey players because of what happened with her ex. So she's always like, been like rolling her eyes at him, like, I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm not impressed by you. And he's doing his best to get her attention, but she's not having it. So when she finds out that her ex is gonna come work for that team, and moment of desperation, she decides that the best solution to get back at him is to fake date her ex's enemy, which is Rory. So they decide to start this fake dating romance, and it's so good. You will be giddy, kicking your feet, laughing the entire time. The chemistry is off the chart. The spice is spicy. I mean, I don't know, guys. This was such a good book. So good. You have, like, again, Golden Retriever personality. She's a little more on the mean side and more serious. We love that. It's just such a good romance. Like, this is a 4.5, 4.75. So good. And then for Play Along, very similar. We have Kennedy and we have Isaiah, the man that is Isaiah Rhodes. Isaiah is Kai's little brother, also Golden Retriever personality, also like, rambunctious and very like outgoing. Kennedy is the sports medicine doctor for the team. She is very serious, more on the like grumpy side, no emotion. She used to be engaged. She's no longer engaged. Isaiah has been pining after her for years. And when he finds out that she's no longer engaged, she's like, this is my chance. Okay. So something happens and they end up having to get married, and they end up in this marriage of convenience where now they cannot get divorced yet, because if they do, that will ruin Kennedy's potential career. And so from there, the romance continues. So good. I don't think I've heard one bad review for Play Along. Like, search high and low. Matter of fact, if I see a bad review for Play Along, I'm coming for that person. 5 stars, infinity stars, so good. This book, if you're into romance, this is the bar. Everything else is at the bottom. Love this. My favorite romance so far. I think so. Yeah, I don't think anything else compares. So yes, so I put that right in the middle. Please read these 2 books. So many similarities. So good. The book Hangover After, don't blame me. Do not blame me. Okay, these are really good ones. Okay, next book I'm going to recommend are The Deal by Elle Kennedy and Daydream by Hannah Grace. Okay, very similar tropes, very similar storyline actually. So I think you'll enjoy it. Most people probably read The Deal. The Deal follows Hannah. She is a very good student. She's very confident in every aspect of her life. The only problem is, because of some background experiences, she is not very confident when it comes to sex and seduction. So she finally finds someone she's really interested in, but she does not know how to approach them. And comes Garrett Graham, famous captain hockey player at her college. And he's very cocky, very sure of himself. The only problem is he's trying to get to the NHL, and he's currently failing a class that Hannah is actually acing. And so he wants to get her help to tutor him so he can ace that class. And she's not having it. But after a lot of convincing, she agrees to go ahead and tutor him if he offers in turn to tutor her in the world of seduction so that she can get the guy that she's interested in. Except that as tutoring ensues, he realizes actually that he likes her, and now he doesn't want her dating other people. He's gonna try and convince her to date him. Okay, so very good. Love the storyline. It is of its time though. There are some references to other women that I didn't really enjoy for some reason. Like, anyone who's not like Hannah's friend is like a slut. I don't know why. But you know, pug bunnies and all of these things, but it's still a very good story. I really do enjoy it. So I think I give this one 4-star also. So like I said, all of these are like 4-star and above. And then we have Daydream by Hannah Grace, also a hockey romance. Also we have Holly. She's the eldest daughter, very confident, also doing well in school. She's the one that keeps everything running and keeping everything intact in her family, but she also does not have a lot of experience when it comes to seduction and dating and all of these topics. She is an aspiring author and she loves romance books, so she wants to write a romance book, but because she doesn't have a lot of experience in this field, in this area, her stories are falling a little flat. And then we have Henry, which is captain of the hockey team, also doing very well. The only problem is that he is actually failing one of his classes. And so his coach is like, yes, your GPA is not at risk, but I still want you to pass that class. So he has no intention really of going to NHL. I don't think so. But because he's captain of the team and he wants to do really well, he decides that he also needs help. And when Hallie offers her help, he decides that in return, he's gonna help her have some romantic experiences so that she's able to write her book. So a lot of the same themes here. And then while this, you know, those tutoring sessions are happening, emotions develop, and, you know, the rest of the book continues. So very similar, so good. Both books, you have the found family element. the hockey team and the girls that come along and become part of the team. Everything is so similar in these books, but at the same time, the vibes are so different because the characters are different. Hallie is like this, you know, have old eldest daughter syndrome, and Henry is not diagnosed, but you can tell that he has some neurodivergence, you know, maybe some ADHD, maybe some autism there, but both stories are so beautiful. If you enjoy The Deal, you will definitely enjoy Daydream. So pick those up. Oh, surprise! Another Elsie Silver book on this recommendation. Anyways, okay, so most people probably have read It Happened One Summer because it's been out longer, and this one is pretty new. But It Happened One Summer is by Tessa Bailey. It follows Piper. She's a socialite. Her stepdad is a big movie director, and so she hasn't had to work or do much for her life. She's been able to enjoy all the riches and go to parties and glitzy, and got herself in a lot of trouble. And she's about to be, I think, 30, and she really has nothing to show for herself. Except one time she goes a little too far, and in order to teach her some responsibilities, her stepdad decides to send her away to this small town, fisherman town, where her dad used to own a bar. Her dad has passed away and her mom remarried. So he's like, go to this town, go live at the bar, you know, turn it back into something, and do that for the summer and learn some responsibilities. And if you do well, then you get to come back and I'll give you your credit cards back, because he cuts her off also. Okay. And then from there, Piper arrives there. Obviously, this is not Hollywood, so she's definitely out of her element, and it shows, and she's definitely ditzy. And it's a lot of character growth with her learning how to take life more seriously. There she meets Brendan, who's a fisherman, and he's this rugged, like, small town guy, not a lot of words, but somehow there's a connection there, an attraction. And now they have to figure out, like, can this romance survive the summer, basically? And Brendan, on his part, he's dealing with a lot of the insecurities of, like, is he enough to keep someone like Piper, whose life has been around glitz and glamour, anchored down into a small town and with him. So this is what this is about. I really enjoyed this book. I loved it. It was so good. Also a little on the spicy side. A lot of these books are spicy, actually, guys. So check your chili peppers. If you're not into spice, I don't think any of these books would be a good recommendation for you guys. But I did really enjoy this. And although this one is not exactly similar, it gave me the same vibes, because in this book, we are following Skylar Stone and West Belmont. Now, this is the second book in the Rose Hill series, also interconnected. You don't need to read the first book, but you should. It was enjoyable. Not my favorite Elsie Silver book, but still enjoyable. West is Rosie from the first books. That's her brother. He owns a ranch, and he's a single dad. He's living a simple life. He used to have a crazy life before, but he's settled down. He's calmed down. And then Skylar is a country singer, used to the glitz and glamour. She's always been sort of famous because she's done pageantry, commercials, stuff like that. So she's never really had to do any, like, manual labor or anything else. She's always been in the limelight. And something happens that in her life with the media, and she ends up coming to Rose Hill to hide and to record a new album that she feels like she can be proud of. But also similar to Piper, because she's always been in the limelight, a lot of the mundane realities are not stuff that she's in touch with. So coming to Rose Hill, she's had to adjust and adapt to that. She's less ditzy than Piper. Very, you know, not as bad, but she's going to have to adjust also. And then because the Rose Hill records and the cottages are not ready yet for the artist, she's having to live on West's bunkhouse and on the same property. So from there, she's having a lot of interaction with West, and a romance starts from there. So both stories have a lot of like these women coming from these glamorous lifestyles, learning about the joys of living a more simpler lifestyle inside of a small town. We have in both stories men who like are very sure of themselves but feel kind of insecure and not sure that they have enough to keep these women with them in a small town. So are they enough? A lot of that conversation is going on. Both stories are very beautiful. I love this book. I think it gave me a little bit of Heartless vibes also. So if you like Heartless, I think you will like this one too. Yeah, so pick those two up if you haven't yet. So the next book that I'm going to recommend are Wait For It by Mariana Zapata and 1% of You by Michelle Gross. Now, I don't know which book is more popular, which one people probably already have read. So I'm gonna start with Wait For It. I think a lot of people know about Mariana Zapata. So Wait For It tells the story of Diana in Dallas. Diana is now the legal guardian of her two nephews. Her brother has passed away and now she's responsible for them. So she moves into this town and she's doing her best to take care of them. Something happened in the middle of the night where she has this encounter with Dallas. He ends up being grateful for her help, but still kind of like, I don't want to be entangled with you. So they have this very weird beginning. But then as more, interactions happen, one of Diana's nephews joined the little baseball league that Dallas is currently coaching. They end up having this brooding romance and it is so good. This is so slow burn. I don't think anything happened until like the 80% mark. So if you're in for slow burn, this is a book for you. It is so good. It has a lot of like slices of life moments, I should say, but it's a very long book but a lot of depth, and I loved all the characters. The kids were wonderful, the background stories were wonderful, the way Dallas is an act of service man. So good. I loved me some Dallas. You are going to enjoy this one. This is one of the books with a little less spice because again, nothing really happens till the later in the book, and I think you get maybe 1 or 2 scenes and that's pretty much it. So I think you will enjoy this one if you're not interested much in spice. And then I gave that one a 4-star. Yeah, 4 stars. And then when it comes to 1% of You, we are following Hadley and Elijah. Hadley is very young, 20 something. She already has a kid named Lucy and she is pregnant with a baby on the way. But her and her husband are now not together anymore. I believe they are divorced because of, you will learn more in the, as you read the story. And one day she's at the store with her baby. She's doing her best. She's struggling. She's very prideful. She's going to school for nursing, but she's struggling. So she looks a hot mess. And so she's at the store with Lucy and her daughter, and the daughter goes to get a bag of chips when this guy, Elijah, is also gunning for that last bag of chips, and he ends up stealing it from her. And who steals a bag of chips from a kid? So obviously, let's just say that their first encounter is not the best. Hadley does not have the best impression of Elijah, and Elijah also does not have the best impression of Hadley because he already makes assumptions about her. Like, she's so young, has 2 kids at this point or about to have another one. She's obviously, milking the system. She's not hardworking, all of these assumptions. So they do not like each other. The only problem is Hadley lives in the apartment that is across from the new house that Elijah has purchased. And so they are often having to see each other in the parking lot. Like, when he's in front of his house, he can see her in the parking lot. So, and Lucy is not having it. She is constantly antagonizing Elijah, having this feud going on. And so it's forcing them to have interactions. And from there, things start to evolve. The redemption arc that Elijah gets in this book And the way this man made it his mission to also be an act of service man. And both of these books, if acts of service is your love language, these books will do it for you. Elijah turned into this very big, and he turned it to the perfect man. This was so good. I love this story. I think about this story all the time. I've actually reread it the other day and I want to reread it again. This one also is a little bit on the slow burn side. I think nothing happens until like the 65%, 70% mark. But when it does happen, okay, that's all I'm going to say. So pick those two up. They are both on Kindle Unlimited also. So enjoy. All right, guys, I had to take a little bit of a break. And then I checked the camera and realized I think we're over an hour. So I think I'm going to stop the video here. The other two recommendations that I had for you guys were fantasy. I think I'm just going to do another video where I do a fantasy edition, since all of these were like contemporary romance. So this will be the romance edition, and then we'll do a fantasy one. I don't want this video to get too long, but I hope you enjoyed these recommendations. I hope you enjoy videos like that. Let me know if it's worth it for me to do a fantasy edition and if you guys will enjoy that. If you guys saw any of those books and you guys have ideas for books that have similar themes or could be similar to any of those recommendations that I made, please leave them in the comments below for me. Again, I would love to read books with similar themes. I enjoyed and loved all of these books, and I know other people will want to have those recommendations. So let's help each other out and put recommendations in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. You already know what to do. Like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks! Seriously?